What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 259. I am taking a break from Elden Ring Night Rain, so I must really care about you guys to be here. And I'm joined by my fantastic co-host, who is very eepy today.
It was a long day at work. I gave you the details before, and it's when people don't do their job, it makes my job harder.
That
Is
that typically is
Yeah,
how it works.
that's the long and short of it. Um, but yeah, I also have a new position at the plant, so I'm also like starting an hour later, but that means I work an hour later now. So like, normally we're like halfway done, if not like done with recording at this point. So
Mhm. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun for the next few weeks. I'm normally in bed by like 10 o'clock, which is gonna be around the midway point of when we record tonight. Uh, Tonight doesn't really matter because it's the last window for Night Rain, for the network test that I've been doing, which has been really fun. Um, that goes until 1 a.m. I doubt I'm gonna play the whole thing because I have to work tomorrow.
Jade, just
Um,
call in. What's more important, Elden Ring or work?
I don't know, probably the thing that pays my bills. The thing that allows me to play Elden Ring in my free time.
But Jay,
But
if you don't go to work, imagine how much more free time you have.
yeah, I know. Not to play Elden Ring though, because I can only play it until 1 a.m. So I could play Marvel Rivals instead, which would also be a really good time.
See, now you're thinking like.
See, we're all putting it together. But yes, I have been dabbling much outside of Pokemon lately, but inside of Pokemon, we've had a lot of tournaments recently. We had a special event today in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We unfortunately do not have any data or results from it. We do know the team that won, so we can kind of briefly talk about it.
and
And then
and
we're going
by
to get
that
into
we
a
mean we have the 6 Mons.
yes. And we know like a couple of things from the little bit that we were able to watch, but we each had very busy days. So we didn't watch too much,
I
to
also
be
don't
fair.
get service at my
Um,
desk at work, so like I can't watch anything.
but we had a Kyogre win the special event against a Zamazenta team. The team was piloted by Hunter Braum, and they won against Eric Bush. So congrats to both of them. We also know that a Sylveon and what was the other Pokemon I said? It was
Masquerada is what you
and
said.
Meowscarada, yeah, made top four. So congrats to whoever was running that. Um,
Was it
but
on
the
the same
winning team,
team?
it was, yes.
Wild.
It was very cool. Uh, yeah, I want to pull that up. But the team that won is Kyogre, Amoonguss, Urshifu, Rapid Strike, Roaring Moon, Raging Bolt, and Incineroar. So for the most part, it's been okay. The Sylveon team was piloted by VJ. It was a Sylveon, Terrapagos, Meowscarada team. So that's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
And they were knocked out by Hunter, who won the tournament. But yeah, it looks like to be kind of the standard Kyogre team that we've been seeing a little bit lately do pretty well. Obviously we don't know, you know, too much about it, but in terms of the 6 Mons, it's pretty consistent with like standard Kyogre. Um, you use the Roaring Moon to set up a Tailwind. The Kyogre does a lot of damage. The Amoonguss is there for support with the Urshifu. The Amoonguss and on this team actually ended up pulling out a 2v1 against Zamazenta and Urshifu. They had to Terra Grass the Zamazenta, and it ended up basically doing a Wolfie and pulling it all the way back with Sludge Bombs and Rocky Helmet Chip to win on 2 HP.
Very, very cool. The finals was like happening as we joined, so like I kind of got to watch a little bit as it was going on. And I got to see it live on 2, and I think it was at like 14 as the last hit of like Searching Strikes has happened, and like the casters are like, there's no way this like lives, right? And then it lives on 2. Like,
Ridiculous.
yeah, just awesome, just absolutely awesome way
It's
to
Among
end it.
Us's world. We're all just living in it.
What else is new?
Truly.
At this point, what else is new?
So unfortunately, that concludes our San Juan coverage. We would have loved to have covered much deeper into the tournament.
I want to see the Sylveon team, but
Yeah, we can really only look at the couple of Pokemon that we see on stream around it. I'm gonna see if
because we don't have like usage data, like we don't have really any of that because it was a special event, so like there wasn't a like official stream from my understanding.
yeah, it was just on Caribbean Gamer TV. And so really big ups to them. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten any coverage on this whatsoever.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that we were able to at least talk a little bit about each of the teams. I'm trying to get this Sylveon team for us before we move on. Just having trouble seeing anything of what's actually going on. It's hard to find.
Anything?
I loading. Okay, hold on. Let's see. We got Terapagos, Sylveon. I am so far at exactly the same point I was at before.
These are the mods we knew were there.
Yeah, we knew that. Meowscarada, we also knew this one was here.
Cool, awesome, love that.
Tinkaton.
Hold on.
Tinkaton. What is Tinkaton here for?
Sylveon.
Okay. Hold on. Give me a second. Assault Vest, Fake Out, Gigaton, Hammer, Play Rough, and I'm guessing Faint? That was?
That would make sense.
Faint. It was Faint, yep, with Mold Breaker, so you can use that around Farigiraf.
That's very, very cool.
No,
you can't.
See if
Farigiraf will still block it.
No, you Mold Break.
Oh, duh. You smart.
Mold Break right through.
I don't care what they say about you, Jay. You're pretty smart.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And there's a Zapdos? A Galarian Zapdos.
What?
Whoa, we need results for this.
What do you mean there's a Galarian Zapdos?
There's a Galarian Zapdos as well.
This is on the Sylveon team?
This is on the Sylveon, Meowscarada, Terapagos, and what was the Tinkaton?
That's insane. That's
freaking awesome. Yeah,
so
shout out
funny.
to VJS. I wonder if there was any relation to VJ Singh potentially of golf fame. I wonder if that is last name.
I'm gonna guess probably not, but
probably not. But imagine
going off of a single initial for a last name.
Yep, Masters winner and amazingly fun, creative Pokemon. The team builder. So definitely up on the same level. I would put them together. But for the bulk of our coverage today, we are going to be talking about a Spear Pillar tournament that happened just yesterday.
This weekend.
Which we actually have results on. It was an 83 team tournament. Once again, shout out to Caribbean TV for Caribbean Gamer TV for covering the tournament. There's 5 hours and 43 minutes of coverage, so there's probably plenty of matches to watch. Probably plenty of other fun teams as well. But yep.
So this is the Spear Pillar Pokemon Week Tour number 1. This is the official title. 83 players. So actually a pretty decent result. To the surprise of no one, Urshifu is the best mon here. Okay, let me rephrase that. It was not the best mon, but it had the most appearance. Raging Bolt, Fluttermane, Amoonguss, Chien-Pao, Rillaboom, Ogerpon, Heartflame, Chi-Yu, and then our first restricted down here at 9 in Zamazenta. Zamazenta being the most represented restricted is neat. I think it's the simplest way to put it. Not really surprised to see that.
Yeah.
Like you have Cali Ice down here at 13, Tropicos at 18, Kyogre at 20, and Shadow Rider at 21. So like, your restricteds are like pretty all close together. 17 Zama, 13 Cali Ice, 9 Tropicos and Kyogre, and then 8 Cali Shadow. So like, and then you actually have more Koraidon than Miraidon in this event, which I think is insane. Granted,
Yeah.
it's by 1, but I'll take it.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I guess, one of the things when you're looking at an event that has less than 100 players is that a lot of these results are going to end up being super tight around each other. But I do think that this kind of shows just like the direction that the meta is going into. It just definitely is kind of. I think we've touched on it before, but it basically is like, uh, each archetype has specific Pokemon that fit really, really well with it. There's sort of ones that overlap really well, and then there's other ones that fill those remaining voids on specific niches. When certain teams like Rain do really well, you're going to see certain Pokemon that pair with Rain do well, and other counters as well. So it's going to be a little light fluctuation, but in terms of you know, restricted, Zamazenta having, 5% more usage than Kali Ice is definitely like it's pretty significant in terms of, uh, use cases. It has, additional 4. So and it
Yeah.
also had a top placement of second in comparison to Kali Ice's 6th. I think that Zama has like a really good spot in this current meta, especially since a lot of people are kind of turning away from the iron defense stuff that we were seeing a little bit more at the beginning of the format and back towards the wide guard, which is just so much more impactful.
Funny enough, I mean, like, I don't think it's actually all that funny. Body press is still the most like used attack because I mean, getting a free +1 is still really good on your stab attack.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
defensive stats
16
are
out
just
of
better than its
17 were
attack.
playing wide guard today. The one that
Yeah,
wasn't was the iron defense one.
I do remember seeing iron defense earlier on in the format a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more. I just obviously wide guard when you have so many of these uh, you know, freak Pokemon with huge special or physical attacks with spread moves. It helps a lot. You don't want to be clicking wide guard with your restricted, but having that as utility is always just really nice. And since you get that +1 on the Zama, um, Iron Defense in a lot of, situations isn't all that impactful. So
It takes a lot to like make it good, right? Like it. Granted, you're half of the time paired up next to a Mungus, so like you have some kind of like redirection to be able to do so, and like you have Rillaboom to be able to like get a fake out off, and like there are like corner cases of being able to do so, but like why set up when you can just like bring in Chien-Pao and click body press and then like have wide guard to be able to protect your team and like threaten theirs. Fluttermane obviously can just do a ton of damage. Like you have like the Chien-Pao plus Zamazenta, and then you can do like Chi-Yu plus Fluttermane, or like Chi-Yu plus Raging Bolt. Like I think actually if I come up here, yeah, this is just like the most common team of just like Chien-Pao, and Zamazenta, and then Amoonguss for support, and then 3 very good special attackers.
yeah. The Zama core is just I think it's our best balanced core
Mm-hmm.
that we've got right now. I think it's the most consistent. It doesn't rely in the same way on speed control that like a Calyrex Ice or a Calyrex Shadow team does. I think that it's built to be bulky and have that offensive kick as well. It has the ability to kind of do both. And so, yeah, I definitely think that like the Zamacore is, our best balanced option at the moment. Hot take from a guy who hasn't touched Pokemon in like 5 weeks. But
I do think there is actually something very interesting about this. If you sort by win rate, there is a Porygon 2 that went 4-0. Imagine going 4-0 drop. Like
cook.
but like looking at mons that
A lot
like
of
have
calyrex
more
on his
than one
team, yeah.
appearance, Volcarona at five Volcaronas having a 64% win rate, coming in second place. Like I think that's like an actual result you can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Tinglu having a pretty good day, obviously like being on the winning team, which we'll get to as well. Let's see, there's
Galarian Weezing even is I know it had
I
2 usage, but it also had a 4th place as the top finish.
I know there's the like Cali Shadow Wheezing team that's been running around. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it
That is
seems.
not the team that the Weezing was used on here. The team that Weezing is on here is actually really cool. I'm excited to
Oh,
talk about it.
interesting. Here, there's also like 60% win rate for Tropicos being your highest winning rate. I guess excluding Lunala, your highest win rate restricted that was like more than one to show up. I think that's really interesting to think about because
Yeah,
like
nine cases.
yeah, nine people bringing it top 3 finish.
26-17, pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like they're mainly like split between choice specs and leftovers. I'm assuming all
Yeah,
these lefty sets are the Calm Mind users. I would not be surprised if that was not the case.
yeah. I like Dark Pulse Dazzling Gleam on the specs variants. I think that those are good coverage options.
I'm assuming it's like Terra Starstorm, Earth Power, and then like either D Gleam or Dark Pulse, and then like Hyper Beam.
I could see both D-Gleam and Dark Pulse
Honestly, I'm
because
not. I don't hate
like
it. Yeah.
Dark Pulse feels like a must on the spec sets because of Calyrex Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just having an option to one shot it out of Terra is always gonna be a good choice. And then the D Gleam I think is just a really good way to help with like Miraidon and Koraidon, which could be problematic for Terapagos.
I also like not to like stray away too far, but just talking about some more restricteds. Groudon with a 58% win rate as well, finishing top 9. Ninth place is obviously just right outside of like the best results you can get, right? Obviously top 8 is like the thing that people aim for, but um, 4 clear amulet, 1 Swords Dance user seems sick. I am a fan of Swords Dance Groudon. I didn't know Groudon got access to Helping Hand, and that's hilarious.
Actually is funny, and when you can use it next to a powered up Flutter Mane or Raging Bolt, or you can use it next to an Urshifu, I think that actually is a smart way to get Groudon to be effective when maybe it wouldn't be, like if it's facing down a Rillaboom, for example, and it's low health, like you can click a Helping Hand into like a Raging Bolt and get like a really strong Thunderclap into something. Yeah, that's a unique little tech. I like that.
What do you think of running like double ground coverage on your Groudon with like Precipice Blades and your Stomping Tantrum here?
I think that was something that we saw a little bit. I think you're probably better off running high horsepower. I know stomping is more consistent, but like I'd still if
See,
if
yeah,
I'm not clicking P blades, like at least give me the 95 base power. Like I'm gonna take the extra 20 base power for the 5% accuracy.
my
Um,
thought was that you miss a P Blade and then next turn Stomping Tantrum is now doubled, so you can just like single target P
it's
Blade, right?
it's cute, but I think if you hit one of them, you don't get the boost.
I'm pretty
So
sure
you
if you
need.
miss one, it works.
I would love to be proved wrong.
I will hopefully prove you wrong.
If that's the case, then I think that would be something interesting. I do think that we were maybe
Stomping
seeing.
Tantrum if on a previous turn the user's last move missed, failed to affect each of its targets, or was prevented from being used due to paralysis or protect, Stomping Tantrum's power is doubled.
So it needs to hit
Both.
it needs to affect each of the targets.
Yes.
So if it misses one of them, it doesn't double the boost.
So the way that's worded is if they switch into like a flying type, it then is boosted, right? Because it's not affecting a target.
If you miss and they switch into a flying type, I do believe it's boosted. If
Interesting.
If you hit and they switch into a flying type, I think it wouldn't be. I do think you need to.
But you're not
either...
affecting the target. I don't know how this works, Jay.
Yeah, we need to get our tech people in here. I personally think that if you hit anyone, it probably doesn't get.
Not according to Bulbapedia.
The Bulbapedia makes it sound very much like if you hit someone, because you said each.
It says
it has to hit
each.
It like.
Yeah.
Can you repeat it again? Repeat the definition.
Stomping Tantrum is a damage-dealing move if, on a previous turn, the user's last move missed, failed to affect each of its targets, or was prevented from being used due to an effect such as paralysis.
Failed to affect
each of its targets. I'm pretty sure this works.
So it needs to miss both.
No, it has to. No, it has to miss one.
Fails to affect each. It needs to fail to affect both that way. Each, as in both of them.
No. If it failed to affect one of them, because then it is not each.
No, you were missing the context of the word.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. Carl, make a poll when this goes up to tell me if I'm right. I'm 99% sure I'm right on this one. Because people were playing it on Lando. Because you would miss Rock Slide.
It was just its best.
Well, that's also true, but like that's why.
Guys, this is what our podcasts have turned into.
Okay, according to the Google AI, which again, we know how factual this is.
Yes.
If you miss on one target, it's boosted.
Okay. Let me see what Reddit says. Did anyone respond to this? Anyone at all? Let's see.
Okay, the top response to this post is missing a move when it caused it to trigger, which is like completely inaccurate.
Alright, this is too much for me. My brain is kind of breaking.
Pretty sure that's how it works. Until proven otherwise, I'm going to say it is. Do you want to talk about teams now?
I guess so. My head hurts a little bit. Ugh.
Hey, let's talk about...
Speaking of Stomping Tantrum.
Let's talk about Tingles.
Oh, it doesn't have Stomping Tantrum, thank fuck. Sorry, Carl. I forgot where we are for a minute. My head genuinely hurts after this. Okay.
Jay forgot we were recording for a second.
I feel brain broken. It's been a long day, okay? It's been a long weekend.
So here's Callie Shadow with Tingles.
Yeah, and Dozo. This is very similar to a team we saw Dawe use, I believe, a few weeks ago in one of the tournaments that occurred. I don't really remember which one.
I love this Terra normal Whimsicott.
Yeah, like obviously really good to counter into the opposing Calyrex Shadow.
That's it, right? That's it. And
yeah.
That and well, I guess you also become immune to Shadow Ball from Fluttermane too.
I guess.
I mean, that in all actuality, that's very relevant, right? Like,
yeah, it is. It's not irrelevant.
But again, why would you ever do that when like Moonblast is still just neutral?
Yeah.
Unless they're like exactly specs. Yeah,
and also the rest of the team does not like Moonblast too much either.
Yeah,
but
we're digging a hole here.
Yeah, but this team is really good. We saw just how good the Sand Tomb, Stealth Rocks, Yawn, Dozo, Ting-Lu stuff is. It works in a very similar way to like the 2-2-2 stuff that we saw in the past, but a little bit more like the one with Glamora. To where you would like set the toxic debris early on and mortal spin and do a whole bunch of chip that way, and then you would have the Dozo in the back. But this time it's reversed, and the Dozo's doing the chip, and then in the back you have the Calyrex Shadow ready to go and clean house. Or you can lead it and then bring the Dozo stall mode in the back too, which is really
So this Dozo, he's not chipping anything. He's hitting Fissure and making him sad.
Wave Crash is there, and Yawn is there.
Yes,
And
because Yawn
Leftovers
does
is there.
chip damage.
It does chip damage when you pair it with Sand Tomb,
That is true.
which is typically how you get these guys
Which
going
is
together.
how you get them yawned, yes.
You yawn them and you lock them into Sand Tomb.
And then you fissure them, and they're sad.
The fissure is the fun part. That's the best button you click whenever you feel like you're having the most fun. But the other fun button is Ivy Cudgel on Terrifier, Ogre Pawn, Hearthflame.
Yes, that is usually doing more than chip damage.
It very much so. So you have like these two really fast, strong attackers in Ogre Pawn and Calyrex Shadow. Urshifu is there as like another, good attacking option. Whimsicott has good speed control, and then really great bulk on the Ting-Lu Dozo to either win Konyu games or get you into a position to where your fast attackers can take control. So, congrats to RP Jaka on their win in this tournament.
Yeah, the team is very cool. I'm a fan of what's going on here. I don't know, man. This Ting-Lu set is just wild enough to get my attention.
Yeah, I do believe that this is the same team that like in Terra types and everything that Dawe used in that tournament a few weeks back. So
let's see, second place. Yeah, I mean this is like pretty standard Zama Qianpao stuff. I really like the Volcarona. I actually really, really like the idea of Flamethrower Volcarona, just because, like, why miss a heat wave when you don't have to?
yeah, and the same thing with like overheat and taking those -2 drops. This allows you to continuously be a threat. The Golden Go on this team, I think, is a little different for most Zama squads. They typically will run like a Pelipper or something, but I guess that is counterintuitive to the Volcarona. Yeah, I like this team. I think the Volcarona is doing a similar but different job to like an Amoonguss.
Yeah, it's like you're Amoonguss, but it also checks opposing Amoonguss, right?
Yes, and then it's also fast and gives you Will-O-Wisp pressure into physical attackers.
Which, like, when we've seen Qianpao be as good as it's been here lately, like having the chance to like get a flame body proc or just like burn them outright with Will-O-Wisp seems pretty okay.
Yeah, and even with like Urshifu, you're giving yourself Rocky Helmet Chip and the chance to burn. Plus, you can get that Will-O-Wisp off beforehand, potentially giving yourself the opportunity to survive.
They'd have to be a really slow Urshifu for that.
No, Volcarona outspeeds Urshifu.
No, it doesn't.
Volcarona's base 100.
No,
167.
You were making things up live on
Urshifu is 163.
You're making things up.
I am not. I promise.
Yes. There's no way that's accurate.
It's entirely accurate. I guarantee it. This one I know I'm right about.
Oh, just because you're
Volcarona
right
is incredibly good. It's very good.
Yeah, but like, when are you ever running max speed Volcarona?
All the time.
I've literally never done it. I've always played like super bulky Volk.
On my Reg H Earthworm team that I brought to the local out in Connecticut, I ran max speed Volcarona.
Well, you cheated.
It was important because at 167, it allowed you to outspeed important things that I needed to get to. I don't remember what those things were right now, but they were important. Our work is mysterious and important.
I'll take it. I learned something today.
Was I right, by the way?
I don't want to talk about it. So third place, I would like to make a formal complaint to Tim if he's listening. Can we somehow sort the restricteds to always be in the first slot? I know that's
I feel like
asking like a
somebody else
lot.
has brought that up to him before, and he was like, that sounds like a lot.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is a lot of extra work. Like I can't imagine how you would probably go about coding that, but like please, Tim, I know you're listening.
But yeah, shout out to Illumina Gilbacher. On to Azmatic here with a Terrapagos team with Power Herb Terrapagos. I think that's pretty cool.
This
Rock
was
Polish
the,
as
if I
well.
remember correctly, this is the only Power Herb Terrapagos in the tournament.
Yes, it is. You're correct about that. It was 5 leftovers, 5 choice specs, 1 power. And yeah, this is a rock fact dream, I guess, because you have Meteor Beam, Rock Polish, and Cornerstone Ivy Cudgel on this team.
I really like the Rock Polish Terrapagos.
It is something, isn't it? Like you
It's
can. I think that you are asking to set up a lot with this thing. It's
it
one of the few
it
Pokemon
needs
that
a couple
could.
turns.
You do have your Ogerpon to get that going. At the very least, you can Rock Polish, still have potentially have your Terra Shell in effect, and then next turn Meteor Beam, get your Terra Shell broken, still be bulky, and then you can Terra, and now you're +1, +2 speed, clicking spread Terra Starstorm. That probably doesn't feel too nice for just about anything that's stepping in and taking.
So I had to go look. Terrapagos has a base speed of 85, which, so if you are max speed, which I doubt you're going to be since you're Rock Polish, that's 150. So at +2, you go to 300. What is
You're probably like like probably just fast enough to outspeed Fluttermane, so you're probably 108 or 107. I think that gets to
Calyrex isn't faster
213 max
than
speed.
Fluttermane, right? After
Oh
speed
no, wait,
boost.
yeah, you would get to Calyrex. No, not after speed boost. The speed boost Fluttermane makes it's beyond 300. Um, but you would probably try to outspeed Calyrex Shadow, which I think is 222.
I'm
So
looking
you
now.
would be
222 sounds correct.
Yeah, so you would probably be 112 speed on the Terrapagos, which allows you to invest pretty heavily into bulk. That's probably right around your base, I'd have to guess.
So if you are,
Yeah,
you need
have to
52
invest
points.
52. Yeah,
52
52
points without
EVs.
a nature.
So that gives you a lot of flexibility
Yeah.
on this build, which I think makes it very interesting. I do think it takes a ton to set up, and I think I would probably like to see something like, I don't know, maybe like an Amoonguss somewhere, like just like
So
or some type of extra redirection.
you have fake out from hands. You have ogre pawn, and like you also have the speed control from Fluttermane. So like you're not always going to need the
Yeah,
rock polish too.
yeah, you're probably right about that. I think maybe I was too
Plus, I'm
tunnel
sure
vision.
there's also games where you just go like Chi-Yu Terrapagos meter beam your ass, and now I'm at +1 with a Chi-Yu next
Or
to
just
me. Like,
Chiyu Fluttermane, yeah.
yeah, like I'm sure Terrapagos is doing a pretty good Fluttermane impersonation at
Yeah.
+1.
My guess is that most games when you're playing against this team goes as follows. They probably lead Ogre Pawn plus Terrapagos. They click Follow Me plus Rock Polish. and then it's either they bring in, if Ogerpon survives and they bring in, it stays next turn, clicks Ivy Cudgel, or you bring in Chi-Yu, and then you go to town and start clicking Meteor Beam after that, and you're plus speed. So yeah, this is a really cool team.
I'm a fan of what's going on here.
It's very unique. I like the thought around Terapagos, and the fact that it was the highest placing of all Terapagos, and it was the only one that was running the set, is also very compelling to me.
4th place, we got some spice.
This team's cool, right?
This seems really cool.
Yeah, it wasn't the standard Calyrex Shadow Weezing Galar team that we were expecting. It is
Zamazenta Weezing Galar team.
Umbreon Sinistra.
Raichu!
Yeah, Raichu as well.
And Ogerpon Wellspring. You get Waterpon back. Like,
yeah, I love this. I mean, I think you get to use that Terra Water on Zamazenta, which in reality is probably better defensively. And you're doing the Raichu thing, which is like, haha, your Raging Bolt can't touch me. Haha, look at me.
I mean, I don't know how much I like Terra Water in a format with Rillaboom being, top like 5 in usage.
+1 defense. I mean, you're not, and you're Steel type to begin with. Like, it's not bad.
It's probably pretty okay, right? This
and
is
you have
also
other
the
good
only
options
Iron
to
Defense
deal with.
Sama.
Yeah, you have other good options to deal with the Rillaboom as well. Like the Sinistra is, a good switch in. The Umbreon is going to do pretty well into it. The
Weezing
Weezing,
eats
it
that
doesn't.
hit, I'm sure.
Yeah, the Ogerpon is not good, but not bad either.
Hold on. I just saw the Weezing set.
This is a consistent Weezing set. This is actually the most popular Weezing set on all the.
There's no way.
This is the one that's on the majority of the Calyrex Shadow teams.
I'm
it
not
might
buying
not be
that for a
Strage
minute.
team, but it's Toxic Spikes, Poison Gas. I'm not lying to you.
What?
I promise. I promise. We covered it. We covered it on this podcast.
Who's we?
I think me, you, and Angelo. I think we've talked about this team.
I've never seen this before in my life.
The Terra Dragon is definitely different. I don't think that is the standard.
The other Weezing was playing Dazzling Gleam over Strange Steam, which
that's not surprising because you don't miss, but you also don't have the chance to confuse. But I love this team, Umbreon Theorem. There's a lot of cool stuff here.
There's a lot going on. I will be the first to admit that.
I think that these are all like really good ideas on their own. I'm not gonna lie. All right, you can call me a hater if you want.
You're a hater. Go on.
I think that all of these. I'm an electric type with Lightning Rod, or I'm a Lightning Rod Pokemon who's gonna go Terra Fairy to counter Raging Bolt. I think they kind of stink. I think they stink.
I don't think there's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, because Miraidon is just gonna click Dazzling Gleam instead. This Raichu, great, you stop the Raging Bolt, but like you're still gonna get blasted by whatever is sitting next to it.
And that's when you endeavor the Raging Bolt to make it not a threat anymore.
Like it was before, and you can still Draco Meteor next to the Raichu.
You'll just miss,
I suppose. But I do think that the rest of this team is pretty cool. It's very unique in terms of idea. I like the idea of Volt switching with Raichu into Sinistra and constantly switching Weezing and Sinistra in and out. I believe. No, I don't think it works like that anymore in this generation because Zama can only.
Zama only gets the one boost, once. Yeah.
So even if you switch it in and out, it doesn't work like that.
Correct, yeah.
But you can with Ogerpon Wellspring.
That is true, and that is something
That
I
one
have
it
done.
does work, like, so you can stack it with special defense
Except
boosts,
I did it with fire pawns.
and you
Because
can
you know
stack
what's better
attack
than a
boost that
+1
way.
fire pawn?
Plus like 6. Also, you're switching in the sun and setting that as well.
Bang!
Like, have fun with that one.
Take that, Kyogre.
Yeah, this is a very cool team. So that is the top 4. Do you kind of
I say we're
what do
at
you think it from here?
about 45 minutes in at this point. Do you want to keep going down top 8, or do you want to just start kind of picking and choosing some stuff here?
We can do some picking and choosing. We can find some fun stuff.
I want to talk about the Lunala in the
Um,
room.
yes, please.
This is 13th place.
Toasty.
There's a Lunala and a Roaring Moon, which if you look at kind of just like side by side, it took me a second to realize which was which. I don't want to admit that, but I just did. So, acrobatics, proto booster boost, Roaring Moon back at it again. Is
Yeah,
this also
probably
common
speed
now?
booster on this one. Yes, with the tailwinds and the
Okay,
knockoff.
okay,
Um, that is the standard move set. I just think
okay.
it's kind of the strongest moves that you get out of it.
Hold
And
on. I just looked at the ensign.
oh my gosh. So this isn't the first instance
It's
that we're
not.
seeing of zoom lens.
It's not, but it makes
Oh
me laugh every
gosh.
time I see it.
It I still don't get it. Or someone really needs to like explain it to me like I'm a 2-year-old child
You
on
just
why
don't
this.
miss. Why miss your Will-O-Wisp?
But like I don't understand why it's better than wide lens.
Because you're slow.
So is it based on speed?
Yes. You only get the boost if you are slower than the target.
Oh,
Yeah. That being
what is
said,
the boost?
it's a 1.2 times boost as opposed to wide
So it's
lens, which is a 1.1.
0.1 better.
Yeah. It's 10% better.
Okay. Um, you have Tailwind on this team.
Here's also my thought. Um,
You're
Instant
also
then
trying to
also
click
has
fake out.
300% accurate moves.
Yeah, and you're trying to like click fake out, so you're trying to win speed ties sometimes.
Yeah,
Like with the Heatran, I kind of get it.
the Heatran I get because you have Magma Storm and like yeah,
And you're also slower than Incineroar, I think. You're
that sounds correct.
55 or 60 speed on Heatran, and I think Incin is 65. But like,
Heatran is base 77.
oh, it's much faster than I thought it was. Jeez. I guess that's
So
yeah, because we
no,
have Choice Scarf
you are
Eruption
not
in a
slower than
day.
Ensign.
Okay, guys, I really don't get it. I really don't get it. I gotta be honest. Like, is this better than a citrus berry? Is this
It
better?
can't be, right? Like
Is this better than a covert cloak? Is this
I
is
actually
this
think Covert Cloak's probably the play here.
like
Because you have the Callies running around, you're seeing a lot less berries. So like Unnerve is something you actually have to play around in this format. So which
yeah,
I
I
don't know
mean
if
you have
we've
like the
actually like
Terra Ghost,
mentioned,
but
but
like
yeah. Also this Lunala set just won't die between lefties
the
protect and grassy terrain. Like this thing
the
will
the other
just never
thing though
die.
with like the Incineroar is that the Calyrexes are really not too incredibly threatening to you. So still running the Citrus Berry for all the other
Which
matchups
could
is
be,
still
yeah.
pretty good idea. Like I don't know.
No,
No one
I
can
don't
convince
disagree.
me right now that zoom lens is a good item in this format. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't think it's good. It's definitely funny every time I see it though.
Yeah, it gives me a visceral reaction.
Hey, that's all I wanted was just
I
a
I
reaction.
I just don't know how to feel at all. Okay. Can we look at number 6? Can we look at the 6th place team? I think this one's pretty cool. It's a hard Trick Room calyrex ice team with Gallade and
Sure.
Torkoal.
Sure. Rocky Helmet.
You
Rocky Helmet, very good item.
Yep, popping on that Indeedee. And like with this Indeedee, it's basically like you're either gonna take me out or I'm gonna just heal my teammate. I'm always gonna be doing something effective here.
Psychic Seed Gallade is a choice.
With the Terrifier, I'm guessing there's probably good calcs for it. With the Psychic Seed, you might be able to live like a weak Fluttermane Moonblast or something. Or Dazzling Gleam, I guess, would be the hope.
Without
I
Terra.
I don't know how I feel about it. You know what? I'm gonna run a quick calc. All right.
Yeah.
Let me calc this quick.
It's probably like 4,000%.
Let's see. No, you are so very incorrect. It's very very livable actually.
Yeah,
It's a
just throwing out a
252.
number means that it wasn't right. Who knew?
So Gallade actually has incredible special defense.
Does it?
115.
What? Jay, we're learning a lot tonight.
Terra Fairy, modest Fluttermane,
Boosted?
Dazzling Gleam. No, not Proto boosted into no bulk. +1 special defense Gallade does at most 100.6%.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm gonna guess that you're running 252 HP on it. I'm just gonna say. The Moonblast is still gonna pick you up, but the Moonblast from the speed booster ones, it's only doing even into no HP Gallade, it's still not picking up.
Yeah.
So it actually is decently effective in what it's trying to do. I wonder. My other wonder here's my big wonder, is Miraidon. Miraidon Dazzling Gleam.
I mean, you're still just taking a
You
billion from.
certainly do. You certainly do. You live Electro Drift.
Okay, see that was gonna be my next question. Is like, do you live the hits that are actually threatening?
Yeah, you don't survive 252 choice specs, Terra Electric and Electric Terrain, Electro Drift.
Okay, so
But
I
you
mean,
do survive non-terrestrialized choice specs, 252 modest and electric terrain.
to be fair, I'm pretty sure Terra Electric choice specs would like KO a Groudon. So
That's also like not too much of a thing on Miraidon lately.
no,
It's much more Assault Fest.
and
So
they're like Terra Fairy nowadays too. So
yep.
um,
So that actually is a very very awesome Gallade set.
I thought it was really wonky. It turns out I'm the wonky.
Yeah, it's unique, and then you allow it to take that Psycho cut boost as well. And then obviously the cream and of the team here, the cream de la creme is within the Calyrex Ice, the Ursaluna, and also this Assault Vest Torkoal, which I think gives you a lot of flexibility with the Torkoal that like a Choice Specs variant does not give you. When you take any sort of damage and you're locked into Eruption, that sucks. But Torkoal's bulky. It's designed that way. When you give it a vest, it's even bulkier. Now you have a bunch of different options that you can use. You can click that Strong Terrifier Weather Ball. You can use that Clear Smog to try and shut down a Calyrex Ice before it attacks, if it has a bunch of boosts. So I like this. I like this team a lot.
It's definitely very very cool. 14th place there's a Venusaur. That's it. That's the best I
Yep,
got.
on a Koraidon team. Pretty standard for like
Yeah.
Koraidon stuff. It's here's a bunch of Sun Abusers and
Yeah, it's Terra Ghost, Focus Ash, Chlorophyll, Sleep Powder. Like it is what you would expect from a Venusaur.
yeah, and then you just have this Indeedee as like a counter Trick Room and Follow Me user.
Yeah.
Seems like and also an anti-priority Pokemon as well, which can be something challenging for this team. So obviously there's a lot of Terra Ghost and a lot of Ghost types, but yeah, this is a really cool team.
There's a All right, I have to. This is 4-3. This is
Is it 20th place?
yes,
It's Securion.
yes.
So, funny story. Okay, this is a really, really funny story.
Hit me.
I, at my very first tournament, actually played against Securion. They are, I believe, community members as well within our community. They have a TikTok following, and they basically post all the time about running teams with Cinderace and Chinchino. Um, so it's kind of funny that we get to cover them. I played them in Secaucus Regionals in my very first tournament. As I started my comeback from 0-4 to 4-4. It was somewhere in like maybe my second win or something of the day. And they had given me they printed out their trainer card like in person and had given it to me. I still have it back in my old house, back at home, in my notebook that I brought to Secaucus that day. So I believe their name is Julia.
Yes. Yep.
And yeah, so shout out to them. They've run Cinderace and Chinchino like all the time.
See, I've
So
I've seen her TikToks pop up a couple different times. Um, and I was I didn't realize that they were like a community member.
yeah, are they in
Yep.
they are in Littleroot
Yep.
lessons, right? I thought so. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. And it just so happens that I had the funny story of running into them, and they also were playing Cinderace and Chinchino and Secaucus, which
That's
is
so
back in
funny.
Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield, okay? Like, hi, Charlotte. I want to say hi, Charlotte. But yeah, this team is really, really cool. I like
Well,
everything that they got going
I
on.
know how much you love zoom lens, so here's a wide lens for you.
Thank you. Thank you. See, this one makes sense, okay?
Yeah,
High jump kick and pyro ball can both miss. And each of them, especially high jump kick, is so incredibly costly. Would I like to see a life orb on this Cinderace? Probably. I would probably love to see that. Like, I'm a gambler though. All right, I'm about that
I'm
action.
I'm very confused about the wise glasses on Fluttermane instead of just being like booster or like life orb or like any other boosting item
So my guess would be you don't do booster because you get it,
from the sun, which makes
constantly. You
sense.
don't have to, you, but you also don't have to switch it in and out. But yeah, it's a boost on top of the sun boost that you're already getting. And I'm guessing no life orb just so that you're not taking that additional chip damage on it. Um, I wonder how bulky the Flutter Mane might be. That maybe it has some calcs that it survives,
Especially with
especially when
screens,
you're
I'm sure you're
screens,
fairly
yeah.
bulky. Yeah,
And also with like the Rillaboom healing and stuff. Um, yeah, and then the Whimsicott here too is dual speed control Tailwind Trick Room, which is one of my favorite. Like, it's the most fun way to run Whimsicott, especially if you're playing like closed team cheat. I know we don't play that anymore, but like,
dog, you have
there's
no
nothing
idea how
better
good
than
Encore is.
yeah, it is. But like, I'd prefer to see Encore over like Taunt on this.
Yeah,
Honestly, like, I don't mind the Trick Room as like that additional option because it is a way to counter Trick Room, and it's also a way to counter opposing Tailwind. Like when they lead Whimsicott, you can very easily just be like, oh, they're gonna click Tailwind. I'm just gonna click Trick Room right now. Set the room, and boom. Now my my team just wins from here. Yeah, I think that can be the final team we cover.
yeah. I'm not really seeing a whole lot. There's a walking weight Groudon team.
Yeah, there's like a
Um,
Regieleki team, a little bit lower. Some Ditto.
yeah, nothing overly exciting from there, but there was the 4-0 Porygon 2 team. Where did that end
Oh
up?
yeah, 21.
21st, which
Yeah,
yeah,
Calyrex Ice, Trick Room. Pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty okay. So,
but with screens and misty terrain Grimmsnarl, so that's unique. It's interesting.
I think, yeah, we're about an hour in. I think I'm good to call it if you're good to call it, man.
I am good to call it.
Okay.
I have some Night Rain to go play.
I have dinner to
Charlotte,
go
you want to
eat.
come here and say hi? You want to come say hi? You're gonna come do the outro with me. Come here. So, thank you all so much for watching. Let us know in the comments down below what interesting teams you think we spoke about today. Tell us any information about Stomping Tantrum and how that works, and also about the Sylveon Meowscarada team that we were looking at before. Make sure you like and subscribe as well. Come and hang out in the community Discord where we talk about a whole bunch of stuff. We're
TCG
all
channel's been
there.
popping off a lot there lately.
Yeah. So you go and check that out, especially if you've been interested in the pocket, like from Angelo's episode last week. And yeah, go and check out the Blue Sky at Littleroot Lessons, and check out the Discord and Patreon supporters links down below as well. With that, that has been this episode. We did not get into a bunch of conspiracy theories this time.
Damn.
And we
No, we
will see
reserved
you
that
all.
for when Bruno's here.
Yeah, we will see you all next time. Peace out.
Peace.